everyone, my name is Ross Gray,
And I'm Ryan Bourne.
and this is the Social Skim brought to you by Cloud Campaign. So I'm just going to start off by apologizing for any weird noises you may hear in the background. I am currently camping in the middle of nowhere and standing on the side of the road with the one place that has Wi-Fi.
At least you're able to find Wi-Fi out in the middle of nowhere. You know, that's a feat in itself.
Well, it's not the best Wi-Fi. Anyway, let's jump into this here. So this week we had some pretty interesting stories. The first one is that Facebook is testing branded content partnership labels. So this is if there are two companies and one is maybe sponsoring another or posting about another, there will be a little button that pops up that can give you more information as to exactly what that partnership is.
I'm really excited about this as a marketer. It's something that Twitter has had for a while, and Facebook, just the option wasn't there to promote someone else's posts. With like Twitter, you could do branded content where you could just boost someone else's tweet, but that was never an option with Facebook. But now it sounds like that's something that we can do. And also for the end user, it's providing more transparency into who's actually paying for the ad, who's ultimately benefiting from you interacting with them. So I think this is a really cool feature that they added.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even their stated goal was to increase transparency. It's supposed to, function in a similar way to the political transparency labels they already have. This is probably the biggest news of the week. Twitter removed inactive accounts to the tune of tens of millions.
Wow. Yeah, I've been hearing about that quite a bit, from other sources. And it sounds like it's just been such a large push for them to try and clear out the network and, make it usable again. It got to a point where bots were really just taking over, and it almost disincentivized interacting with someone because chances are there's a bot that was liking your post or following you on Twitter. It wasn't actually another human. So it's pretty cool that they're putting the effort and time into cleaning up the network.
Yeah, and kind of what they said about it is that their metrics were way off now because became so easy and cheap to buy followers or bots, and that's what a lot of people did. So they wanted to, clean it up and give some legitimacy back to their metrics. Katy Perry lost 2.8 million. Justin Bieber lost 2.7, and those were actually, percentage speaking, less than some of the other accounts. There were some that lost over 70% of their followers.
It makes you wonder how many of these celebrities bought followers initially just to try and gain a quick following.
No, it's true. That's definitely true.
I feel like this is going to require marketers to have some sort of explanation to their clients, because just because we're so used to getting a lot of engagement on Twitter, and it's pretty easy to get followers, although you do have the Twitter follower wave where you gain, 30 followers in 1 week and then you lose 40 the next week, and it just goes up and down because it's all automated. So I feel like a lot of that's going to change, and there might be some explanation needed from marketers to really explain the new behavior, coming in this next month when looking at the analytics.
Yeah, absolutely. You wonder how much of it is them purchasing it and how much of it is maybe just other bots that people have, put on there to track what they're doing, but it's definitely true. Twitter did emphasize that these accounts were not, they didn't rip off followers, if anyone was actually active on the platform. These were accounts which were not interacting. They were not engaging with the community whatsoever. So the next story is that Instagram has released question stickers for stories. This is something they had been talking about rolling out and officially did. In a statement, they said, add a question sticker to your story by selecting it from a sticker tray after taking a photo or video. Type out your prompt and place it wherever you'd like and share it to your story. When friends see the sticker, they can tap it to reply, and they can reply as many times as they want right from the sticker.
This is great for brands. It's a great way to easily solicit feedback, and it seems like people are pretty happy to actually fill out the free form and give answers. Just from my personal, Instagram feed, I've seen a lot of influencers were using this feature, and it seems like a lot of them regretted it pretty quickly because they got that many answers. They were just getting bombarded. Or sorry, not answers, but questions back. A lot of them were asking for. And they were just getting bombarded with people actually responding with them, and it just seemed overwhelming. But I think for for a brand, with a very clear goal in mind, I think it's a great way to solicit some feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a marketer, I mean, this is a great way to kind of get some engagement from your followers in a fun way. It's different.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's the biggest thing. It's different. People always want to try something new, and it's quick, it's easy, it's ephemeral. So yeah, I think this is going to be a great feature moving forward.
Yeah. So this next story is something that I'm pretty skeptical about, and even from the photos, I don't really know how I feel about it. But that is that Facebook has added augmented reality functions to be able to virtually try on products.
Interesting. So is that only for paid posts, or is it for organic as well?
So I believe it's just for paid posts. What they said is that the ads will appear in the main feed, and they will have what's called a tap to try it on option. And once you click to try it on, it'll just put a digital version on you, and then from there you can purchase. But even from the pictures, it looks pretty cheesy.
Is it kind of like like an Instagram or Snapchat filter, or it kind of just like
Exactly. And they even acknowledge that the digital version is probably not going to look exactly like the real version.
I think it's a cool idea. I mean, again, it's another way to help brands stand out on the platform, and using some pretty cool technology. It's probably more of a proof of concept and really testing the idea of whether or not brands will actually use it before they dedicate more time into building something a bit more robust. But overall, I think it's a cool idea. I think it's hopefully brands actually utilize it and they decide to keep it, improve it moving forward. But it sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think as they keep going with these new tech trends, it'll get better and better to the point where maybe it actually does look the way it would in real life. The next story is that Twitter is testing promoted trend spotlight ads, and this is basically you can pay, and it's going to start at $250,000 a day. But you can pay to list your company or whatever content you want at the top of Twitter, and it'll be there for the next 2 times every person goes on to the platform.
Wow, that's not cheap.
No, it's definitely not cheap.
I'd imagine you actually get a lot of impressions from it. I guess the hard thing is, like, do you know if you're able to target who's actually seen it, or is it just anyone who goes over to the trending section on Twitter?
I believe it's anyone who goes over to the trending section. So that's a lot of eyes.
It
but
is,
also
yeah.
$250,000 is not a cheap price tag.
Absolutely. I mean, as a marketer, you always have to think, what else could I do with that 250 grand? If I was
Yeah,
just
exactly.
promoting a tweet very targeted at my specific audience, am I going to get a better return than just throwing it into this, this feed where a ton of people see it? You get a lot of brand awareness, but maybe it's not the right people. So hard to say. I imagine only very, very large, consumer facing brands will be using it initially.
hmm
But I see why Twitter's trying it. I think it's a good way for them to diversify their revenue streams and find more ways to monetize the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because of all those concerns you raised, that's why right now they're just testing it out, and they have not released any date to roll it out. The next story is that Pinterest has released new group collaboration tools, and as I always say, I am not a big Pinterest user. But their statement read, launching on group boards, now you can have conversations with other members of your board with the new group activity. The majority of pinners use group boards to collaborate with family and friends as they plan parties, events, and projects together. These updates are in direct response to requests from pinners just like these, and they're part of our ongoing effort to make Pinterest a more productive place to bring events and other projects to life.
It seems like they're trying to move into more of the productive space. I wonder if it's more of a push to get, B2B or B2C companies using the platform. I was looking at the Social Media Examiner actually just released their 2018 report a couple months ago. And I think Pinterest was the second to last used platform by marketers above Snapchat. And so this is probably a push from Pinterest to try and get more marketers, more businesses on there, actually spending money and using the platform.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I also know that a lot of times when people are using Pinterest, it's to plan their wedding or, it is to plan these events, and they can get these ideas from other boards. And it seems to add group collaboration to that would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely makes sense for the consumer. Seems like it would be a pretty useful feature to have.
And our last story here is that Twitter has added video docking. And basically what this is that, when you're scrolling through the feed, if you click on a video and you want to keep scrolling, a lot of times you'll lose track of that video. So now, and there goes a truck, I promised I was on the side of the road and that it would happen. Now you can lock the video in place, and as you scroll through your feed, you can still continue to watch that video.
Always a helpful feature. It's something that LinkedIn and Facebook have already. It seems like, I mean, I guess it's no surprise, but it does seem like the social platforms kind of copy each other in big ways, as we've seen with like Instagram stories, but also in small ways, which is just little convenience features like this. So yeah, I mean, not too surprised that Twitter added this functionality.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it for us. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday for the most up-to-date social media news. Find us on iTunes and wherever else podcasts live.
And head over to iTunes. We read every single review, so whether you like the show or not, just please leave us a review. Let us know what we can do better on the next episode. And thanks for listening. See you all next Tuesday.